What's going on, rSpace fam? Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. I, 30 male, caught my wife, 29 female of 7 years, messaging her ex-boyfriend things that no husband wants to read. She'd begged me not to leave her, and I haven't. But I can't stop asking. What if they were never caught? It's killing me inside. Please help. My wife and I started having problems a few years ago when I decided to leave Mormonism. We were both extremely devout. Although we stayed together, our marriage suffered as my views and perceptions on certain things began to change dramatically, which ultimately changed me. I started to question my motivations for getting married and having children at such a young age, which made me bitter and resentful. I fully admit I was not a good husband during this time. We separated for about 2 months after this, and something incredible happened while she was gone living with her uber Mormon parents. She researched what I had and also figured out that Mormonism was fake. She eventually came home, but things didn't really get better. I was still being very distant and had become obsessed with disproving religion and God altogether. This went on for about a year. In November of 2013, we got into a big fight, which landed me on the couch. I couldn't sleep, so I grabbed her iPad. I came across a series of Facebook messages between her and her old boyfriend, who she has always spoken very fondly of. The only reason they didn't get married was because he wasn't Mormon, and her parents wouldn't approve. They had been shooting the breeze off and on for about 8 months. Nothing too serious. Their last correspondence, however, was a bit heavier. She told him how much she regretted not marrying him over religion, and how great they would have been together. She also said she had dreams occasionally of them getting back together. She ended by saying that she still loved him. He responded by telling her that he felt the same way. Reading this, and understanding where it was coming from, shook some much-needed sense into me. I realized that I was pushing away the most important thing in the world to me. When I confronted her about it, she was pretty upset, but after a long talk and many tears, we made it through the night in one piece. The next month was truly one of the best we've ever had. Everything from our sex life to the way we were communicating seemed to have improved exponentially. On top of that, I asked her to please stop communicating with her ex, which she seemed more than okay with. About a month into our newly revitalized relationship, I woke up to my phone vibrating. It was an email from the ex-boyfriend's wife. She explained that she had come home to find her husband looking guilty on his phone. She eventually got everything out of him, which she then forwarded to me. From piecing it all together eventually, their communications that day and night went down like this. He Facebook messages her in the middle of the day, telling her that he has to tell her something important. She responds and tells him that she'd also like to chat, but can't at the moment. We were at a bowling alley with our kids, so they agree to talk at night. Around 10 p.m., she tells me she can't sleep and wants to watch a show she knows I'm not good at tolerating, Revenge. I go to sleep. They start writing shortly after, but she tells him it will be safer to email, as I have gotten into her Facebook in the past. He starts by telling her that he has never stopped loving her, and finding out about her leaving Mormonism was painful, as that was quite literally the only thing that kept them apart. She tells him that she will also love him and wishes things could have worked out differently. She tells him that the last few years have been difficult with me, but lately I've been trying, so she is going to give it one more chance. Some back and forth talk ensues about his unhappy marriage. He then starts to get a little sexual and also asks if she would ever want to meet up if he were to visit Salt Lake City. He says he would like to buy her a drink, now that she actually does. She tells him she can't because I was already suspicious. She also throws in that the two of them drinking together might get a little crazy. He tries to get more out of her by asking what kind of crazy. She says he is funny, and just basically says how silly she gets when buzzed. He may have felt stupid, so he apologizes and asks if he is being too flirty and making her uncomfortable by talking about adult subject matter. She says that he is not being too flirty and says that she is not uncomfortable with talking about adult subject matter. She also throws in, "Have you forgotten me that much?" She tells him she needs to get to bed, but she wants to continue talking to him. She also says that she will be creating a new email address and asks him to delete their messages. He asks exactly what it is that they're doing. She says that she doesn't know and will have to see moving forward. She says that she does know that she misses him. He asks one last question. Does she miss him playing with her boobs? This gets her off more than anything else, because he thinks about it often. Her exact response is, "Haha, I figured. Yes? Now delete and have a good night." The dumbass doesn't delete. Wife comes home, gets it out of him, texts my wife calling her a home-wrecking slut, and that she's forwarded the messages to me. In the middle of me reading everything, I hear my wife run down the hallway, open the door, and immediately she breaks down and says how stupid and sorry she is. She is crying hysterically. I do my own version of freaking out, saying she's only sad because she was caught, and so on. I tell her we are getting divorced and try to leave the house. She holds on to me and won't let me go. She explains that she got caught up in the moment and never intended for things to go anywhere. She brings up the fact that for all those years I withheld affection, and this was partially why she did what she did. She said she loved receiving compliments from him and didn't want it to stop. I bring up the fact that for the last month, things have been so good and I've given her what she needs. She says she didn't know if it would last. I tell her I want a divorce again, and she finally lets me leave. She is sobbing. I head to my friend's place. She texted me all that night, and I didn't respond once. I came back the next morning with the overwhelming feeling that I didn't want to get divorced. We talked some more, and I told her I forgave her. Since then, things have been up and down. She has told the ex several times that she wants nothing to do with him, and I think he finally got the message. But I can't shake the what if feeling. How long would that have gone on? What is she capable of? How much would it have escalated if they never got caught? These questions are killing me, and so is feeling the way I do when I think about it. I guess I just need some outside perspective. I greatly appreciate it. He asked for some outside perspective, so let's give it to him. Adokimus starts us off. If you've been married 7 years and can only bring up the fact that for the last month things have been so good, you probably know that you've been a crappy husband, and now she's been a crappy wife. Maybe you can move on from this, but maybe you both need a fresh start. BS Advice adds in, OP has been a crappy husband for years. OP's wife has been a crappy wife for a few days. Regardless of whether they stay together, guess which one owes which one an apology? OP, did you really think you could withdraw all affection from your wife for years and she would be fine? She has acted badly, but this result is somewhat inevitable. If you want to make it work, you need to work incredibly hard on it, and of course, keep what happened a secret. Dinosaur Trains comment time. Well, we always crucify the cheater and whatnot around here, but I'm going to take a more complete look at the picture, since you were a good enough OP to actually post the truth. You were a crappy effing husband and wounded this woman a lot. It just stopped a few weeks ago, but scars don't go away that fast. There are real cracks in this marriage. Cracks that 1 month of good behavior on both sides doesn't fix. It definitely sounds like there is something more emotionally she's in need of, and that other guy gives it to her. I can only imagine how betrayed and upset I would feel about that. I'd feel sick, really. What a horrible thing. But you aren't innocent in all of this. You've both played your roles. If you want to fix it, keep this a secret and get marriage counseling. Really, guy, once people find out about infidelity, the marriage is done. Everyone will undermine it, and frankly, you guys don't need any more crap. You've got kids, you both contributed crap to this thing, so put the work in and fix it. And now time for a quick bonus story. I, 25 male, just discovered my girlfriend, 21 female, of 2 years has been cheating. She doesn't know I know. They had sex. Written proof. I'm dizzy with hurt and rage and I need advice. I just got back from vacation to our home. It was a journal. He is a guy from work. They had sex. I read it. I've met him. She is my girlfriend of 2 years, and I've never had a single incident of infidelity. Edit. Redacted journal page. No pics allowed here. XXX and I had sex again. I wasn't drunk enough to not remember it this time. I want to remember it, etc. Here's a picture of it. It says more than I possibly can. Anyone who reads this will realize how horrible this all is. She means the world to me. We've been planning to move together to a new city next year and continue building our life together. What now? I need objective advice, especially from people who have been in the same situation. I want to throw her stuff out of my apartment, then find the guy and rip his throat out. But I know that's not what I should do. Her trip with family in a month is a lie. They have a room in another city for a weekend and are planning to screw me over. How long has this been going on? At least 2 months, maybe longer. They were at a party without me knowing, as I described in the journal, and I can guess what happened in between the lines. They got blackout drunk. She is irresponsible with alcohol, and I've made it clear how I feel about it. They had sex, and that opened the door to this situation. How do I resolve this from here? She doesn't know that I know. Tell me your story. I bought some beer, a pack of cigarettes, and I know I have a few hours alone to get this figured out. One quick word of advice from Ballerino1. You just need to leave, man. I'm glad you recognize that you shouldn't rip the guy's throat out. But you should definitely throw your girlfriend's stuff out of the apartment, and her along with it. Your girlfriend is a lying, cheating piece of crap. I might be a little more understanding if this were a one-time mistake, but it happens. It sucks, but it happens. However, it doesn't seem she has any remorse for her actions, so it's just time to go. No amount of hurtful words or actions are going to take that back, so it's just time to move on. Worrying about how long it's been happening or what any of the details are is just going to add unneeded anxiety in your life, which you don't need at all. You know everything you need to in order to make the decision to get this person out of your life. You can get in your licks as she's leaving, but after that, just try to move on and don't let one a-hole ruin the rest of your life. I know it's easier said than done, but dwelling on it isn't going to make it not happen. Be thankful that you found out before you made any real commitments to her.